Hey guys,
All right.
that's my guest on Hunkered Down with Seth. Thank you for joining us. Oh, what can I say? This guy is my first ever comedy best friend forever. We haven't spoken to each other in over a dozen years. We go back to the Miramar in Milwaukee. He's a great guy, and we hooking back up. Aaron Wagner, Aaron, welcome to the show. Welcome back into
Yes.
my life. What's up?
Not much. You're in Long Beach, right?
Correct. And
Yeah, I know. Said I'd visit, but turns out I was in Long Beach, Washington. So,
oh,
whoops.
it's all right. It was my fault. Uh, I should have visited you in Portland when I was up in Seattle, so this was long overdue. And yeah, I'm sorry that it
Yeah,
hit.
absolutely. I was thinking today, was it the Miramar? And it was the Miramar
Yep,
where we met.
I think so. It
The
definitely
Miramar
wasn't.
is what.
It wasn't the safe house. It was. I started going to the Miramar. Yeah,
That's how I ended up out in Portland too. I met a comic there, and it all just kind of unraveled and ended up with me out here.
yeah. Richie Stratton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started with a guy named Scott Shields who put together just another hangover tour that Richie was a part of, and then I was a part of, and
Yep.
yeah, it all just kind of led here. The Miramar is amazing. Met some great people there, funny people.
Oh, totally. I have a funny story. I was almost on the just another hangover tour because Scott called me. And this was like 2008, and he said, "Hey, could you get to Minnesota by tomorrow?" I was like, "Definitely no." I I had a day job and all that stuff, so I had an opportunity, but just couldn't do it.
It got a little contentious towards the end. Those were years you may not have wanted to be there.
Yeah, I heard some. I know a bunch of the people. My buddy Roger Lazola was on it, and he said,
Oh, okay.
and they got in a fist fight, him and Scott, just one night.
Yep.
Um, another,
There's some crazy shit that happened. I was there when Scott Shields mentally broke. Uh, We got hit by a tire in Ohio, and he was just screaming "fuck" at the top of his lungs in a parking lot just for 5 fucking straight minutes.
that that's comedy. That's show
That was Nate.
business.
That was Nate Ford. It was all part of it. Was great. Nate Ford, right? Have you seen Broadway Danny Rose?
Yeah,
I feel like they all get together and they tell their Danny Rose stories at the beginning. I feel like that's what everybody's going to be doing with Nate Ford someday.
yeah,
I have some great Nate Ford stories.
yeah. I heard this one story from that tour. There's this guy named Mike, a bigger guy, Mike something, and they had
I
Mike.
know.
The name escapes me. It starts with the C. Mike Couch. Anyway, they got pulled over somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and they had a bunch of mushrooms. So Mike ate them all,
Jesus.
and they ended up going to jail. And Mike was just tripping the whole time.
Oh God. Yeah. I was the sober comic because I learned a lesson early on that if you're touring, one of the three comics needed to be sober. Otherwise, everybody ended up in jail.
Yep.
So I was that sober comic, the guy that could talk to the cops. Like, excuse me, officer. No, everything's fine. I have it under control. Too much of the blood of Jesus. We're going home now.
Yeah. Oh man. So what brought you to Portland, and what have you been up to, man?
Well, Richie and I, it's just part of one long, strange night where Nate Ford's on the Hangover tour with Richie and Scott. I'm in Milwaukee. I leave Milwaukee in the middle of a horrific blizzard in Nate's car to meet up with them. and Nate doesn't tell me that the car has no heat, the windshield wipers don't work, there's no kind of fluid. I swear to God, it's the closest I've ever come to dying was driving through Chicago. I get in front of the goddamn storm going east, meet him in Cincinnati. Nate takes his car and leaves in clear fucking weather. That son of a bitch. And then we get in Scott's car, get on the highway, and that's when that tire hit us. We saw the spare tire roll past us, go 2 lanes to the right. The son of a bitch hooked back and then went right for the front of our car, blew out our radiator. We eventually got to the show in eastern Ohio somehow, but by the time we got back on the goddamn road, that same blizzard that nearly killed me had caught back up with us. We get into town, we do the damn show. We're at a historic bed and breakfast getting high because no one else, including the owners, were there. And Richie and I started talking about making movies. And then we wrote a script. And eventually, when my life dissolved, I ended up in Portland so we could keep making movies.
Oh, nice. And they're horror movies, correct?
Sometimes. I mean, in the fall, there's a great horror contest here in Portland called Guignol Fest, run by Dylan Hillerman and Julia, and they're wonderful people. And it's a 72-hour film fest where on Friday night you find out your category, a weapon you have to use, and you have 72 hours to film it, edit it, hand it in. And so we do that every year. But on the side, we've been doing some other things, and we're about to start. Well, we were going to, and then the world went fucking crazy. But after this is all over, we're going to film a feature-length black and white comedy. It's a spoof of noir detective movies.
Oh, nice. So a lot of narration, a lot of like Maltese Falcon type stuff. She walked into my life, and her husband's missing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's real stupid. It's in the Young Frankenstein vein, where it's stupid, yet they take it incredibly seriously.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we're close to filming a feature.
Oh, that's awesome. And what else? What do you do? How's life been since I've last seen you?
Yeah, we've missed some shit here. Got married, got divorced. The only 2 times I've danced in my life. Small jokes. I feel like Woody Allen now. That's fine. That's not fine, I guess, right?
Right.
Shit's gone weird. Woody Allen went from hero to somebody you can't admit you like anymore. This is the end of my small career right now.
Yeah.
I got married, I got divorced. I was taught for 7 years in Milwaukee, and then I decided the hell with it, liquidated my retirement, and moved to Portland to make movies.
Wow.
And now I'm working in home privately with kids who have disabilities.
Yeah, that's admirable. So, yeah, same with me.
I guess I know you moved to Seattle, and that was the last I knew.
Yeah. Well, my story is here. I moved to Seattle, did comedy, managed a comedy club, quit managing a comedy club, started a show, an improv theater, made a TV demo for said show. One of my best friends used one of my jokes on a Comedy Central special, and I was like, I'll move down to LA, hang out with him for a bit. Moved down to LA, literally seen him once in the 2 years I've been here, but I'm very happy.
I liked LA when I went there.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
that's the thing. LA is entirely what you make of it. I mean, it has everything that you're looking
Yeah.
for and some stuff you're not, but there's a lot of stuff that if you're looking for bad stuff too, you'll find it.
I went there for a film festival actually, and I was really expecting not to like it, but it's just so damn diverse. The food's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really miss diversity living in Portland.
Oh, well, Portland has all kinds of white people there.
Yes. a wide variety of white people.
Exactly. But
I mean, as segregated as Milwaukee is, right, and it's the most segregated city in the country, it's still diverse.
yeah,
Portland, I mean, shit. I had no idea when I moved out here, and I'd been out here for a month, and I was like, what is weird about Portland? And then it kind of hit me like, oh, there's only white people. I see.
yeah. If you literally,
Fine, I guess.
literally to find diversity, you got to watch a Trailblazers game.
Or live where I live. North Portland is pretty good, actually. But Portland proper, it's a whiteout.
Completely, yeah. From all 13 bridges, just not diverse at all.
Hey, I had no idea until I moved here that they had that this was a whites only state. They never teach us that in history.
Nope. They're like, hey,
That's just terrible.
it's completely horrible. In fact, do you remember those guys in Oregon who took over the federal like wildlife thing? Like, they
Oh,
armed
the
them?
Bundy guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, that's
Oh,
everywhere in Oregon outside of Portland.
it reminds me of something I heard David Cross say. I actually saw him at the Miramar shortly before I started doing comedy. He said the South isn't a location on the map. It isn't a longitude or a latitude. It's just about 20 miles outside of any major city.
Yeah, completely.
Man, you get 20 miles. What?
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is in LA, like especially if you go towards Orange County, um, it, it's
Yeah.
it's like they're racist, but they're racist with money. It's like they have good jobs and big houses, but they are exceptionally racist.
God damn it. People suck.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think that's the whole lesson in my life. It's profound.
Yeah. Well, also, so an update about me. I haven't really quit drinking, but I've pretty much since I moved from Milwaukee, and I don't know. There was a point where I got so broke where it was like I couldn't afford alcohol, and then things started getting better, and then it's like, oh, I don't really need to drink that much, anyways. So
I don't know. I might drink more out here. I'm not sure. Nothing counts in the apocalypse.
nope, that's true. In fact, we got a bottle of vodka and a bottle of Manischewitz for Passover that I'm gonna polish off.
I can't do Manischewitz. Oh, sweet liquor kills me.
Yeah, but you know what they say? What happens in the pandemic stays in the pandemic.
It affects everyone, man. From nurses to necrophiliac. Apparently, you can get it from corpses now. What a world we live in.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if
Yeah,
I, you would think this would be the like the necrophiliac's dream, you know?
it just got ruined today. Goddamn science.
Yeah, but
Science didn't say things that wouldn't be true.
no. Well, not with our political views.
Just stick your fingers in your ears and hum a lot.
Yeah,
I think a third of the world is stupid.
yeah, pretty much. And well,
You could take their face and put it in a fire and they'd say it was cold.
yeah. Technically, I don't think a third of the world's stupid. I think everybody but me is stupid, but there's also a level of. I think there's a third of the world that's intolerable.
That's probably about right.
Especially if you ever drive in LA, you learn that really quick that it it's like 2/3 of the drivers are good, then you got that third that you just, it's worse than getting a root canal.
So, do you remember the first time you did stand up?
Yes, I do. It was at the Safe House, and
Me too. Actually.
yeah, it was Tony Miller was the host, and I'm trying to be
Miller.
yeah I'm trying to be positive, so the less said about Tony Miller, the better. So but but I do remember a lot of this is how long ago it was. So right now I'm 36. I had to use my brother's ID because I was under 21 to get in to do it, and
Oh, okay.
so I was about 20, and I went up there. I was terrible, but I had fun, and then I just kept doing it.
My first time was the safe house. God, I really don't know how long, 15, 16 years, probably, like you're saying,
Yeah,
right around that time. I signed up. There's like 20 goddamn people on the list, and the show's going on forever. But they had a good audience, right? It was pretty decent.
yeah.
And then they put me up last. I go up last about 12:30, and every single person left in the room gets up and walks out. They were all comics. Michael Gall, Jeff Lampton, Mikey D, Brian Green just all got up and walked out and left me up there on my virgin appearance with a completely empty room.
Wow.
Those bastards, 3 years later, were working together. Like, yeah, all right. And honestly, I like them all. But at the time, you're like, you son of a bitches.
Yeah.
Comics are so delightfully catty.
Yeah, I remember this one time. So it started, you know, Tony does the same set he always did. Then four comics go up, and then I go up. As I begin, about a dozen people walk in, like a dozen audience members, and
Yeah.
it was like literally my first good set I've ever had. So I do my 3 minutes. I get off stage. Tony goes up, redoes his entire set for the audience, and then brings up the next comic.
Man. Oh, man. I've seen some crazy shit.
Yeah,
I miss comedy a little bit.
yeah, and we had some people who did some stuff. Like when I started, that's when Johnny Beaner was just starting to
Yeah.
feature, and now he's a national headliner. Um,
And Tom Clark is doing well for himself.
yeah, do you remember a girl named Laura Bites?
Laura was fucking great.
Yeah,
Is great. What am I saying? Laura was good. Now she's great.
yeah. I actually graduated high school
I
with
can't
her.
believe how good she is.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
I think it may have been. I think it might have been one of her first out of town shows. But I had a show, a paying gig for me plus somebody in Chicago, and I thought, man, this lady's funny, and I took her with me down to do the show, and man, the audience was just vicious. I mean, it was one of these things where, like, they're doing a comedy show, and they have 200 people in the goddamn bar, but only 190 of them, don't know the show's going on.
Yep.
And it was just the worst, one of the 5 worst audiences out of thousands of shows I've ever seen. Laura just plowed through, did her jokes, wasn't rattled, and then we drove back to Milwaukee, and that was pretty much the last time I saw her because my life started to grossly change. And then I saw her on TV, and I couldn't believe how good she'd done. She was already good, but she really made that leap between good and legitimately impressive.
Oh,
She's terrific.
yeah,
Deserves it.
absolutely. And yeah, I've bumped into her once, and ironically, it was in Seattle, not L.A. And went up there, just you know,
Oh,
and it was funny because I depressed her because I was telling her I was updating her who died that we went to high school with, and I almost brought her to tears, and then I was like, oh, sorry, this should be happy. So
Oh, I don't know what the hell happened to anybody I went to high school with.
yeah, I
That's a long time ago.
yeah, with Facebook, a few people mentioned stuff. There's still like 3 or 4 people I'm in contact with.
I'm afraid to know, man.
Well,
Milwaukee's a rough city.
yeah, I'm just happy I got out of there when I did. I mean,
It's tough. If you grow up there, man, it'll toughen you up. People always think, oh, Wisconsin, ha ha ha, like that 70s show. It's like, well, not in Milwaukee, but sure.
yeah. And I grew up
It
in.
has a shitload of character, though.
Oh, totally. I grew up in a suburb that was quite well off, North Shore, and I'll tell you
Like White Folks Bay or something.
uh, north of that, Glendale, but like right across from
Ooh.
Fox Point.
Oh. All right.
So, but as soon as I moved to the east side, I was like, oh, okay, this is the Milwaukee they don't talk about. And I, and I remember, God, I was living on a Farwell just off of North Avenue, so just down the street from Pizza Shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah.
and I lived outside of one of the last working payphones in Milwaukee. And
I'm pretty sure that's ground zero for the COVID virus.
yeah, and every Friday, either Friday night or Saturday night, I could guarantee a drunken, um, like a 2 a.m. drunken breakup call at that payphone.
That's a TV show in itself.
Yeah, but uh, but yeah, I mean, I had a good childhood, but the best move I ever made in my life was getting the hell out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I felt there was a limited amount of opportunity there.
Oh, definitely, it's like you know, who wants to be mid management? Living in Milwaukee. If you're big in Milwaukee, that's like
Yeah.
no,
You could be Bill Lumberg,
yeah, or Gus Ganarski.
right? Like, wow, what a future for me. I'd rather rot and die on the West Coast than live in the Midwest anymore.
Yeah,
I did 34 years. That was enough.
yeah, I got out early. I only did 22.
And honestly, the Midwest is great if you do want a certain type of life. It's just not the life I was seeking.
Yeah, if you want to own a house and raise a family, that's where to be. But I'm in California. It got uh, it got below 50 once since I moved out here. So that's
That's amazing.
yeah, that's the life I'm living. I'm loving it out here, and the cool thing is, it's like Milwaukee. You drive somewhere, you drive 2 hours, it's still flat. Here, you drive 2 hours, it's mountains. You drive 2 hours, it's beaches. You drive 2 hours, it's camp. There's so much variety.
That was one of the other big reasons I moved out here. You're just so close to some of the most amazing things on earth. And Wisconsin's beautiful, but I've seen it all. I've been to every state park multiple times.
Yeah, and everything's the
And the West
same.
Coast is, I don't know. People didn't come out to the West Coast pretty much for the same reason for a long time. They just said, well, I can't stand these Puritan pukes, so I might be killed by Native Americans, but I'm going to fucking risk it.
Yep. And
It's easier to get out now than it was in the past.
oh yeah, a lot less dysentery.
See, that's what's wrong with this society. That's the problem with socialism. Gets rid of all those sweet diseases like typhoid and dysentery.
Yeah. I mean, I have yet to shoot a buffalo.
Man, That's definitely on my bucket list. I'd love to shoot. Let's go shoot buffaloes.
I'm in.
This isn't being recorded.
No, not at all. I'm just doing the and if it was being recorded and I throw it up, no, maybe 2 dozen people will watch, 3 dozen, maybe 15,000, something like not enough to constitute, you know, a felony.
Is it legal to shoot a buffalo if you use a musket?
Yes.
That's what I thought. All right. That sounds good.
You know what
We found a loophole.
I, if I was gonna kill a buffalo though, I would just go straight up canoe paddle. I mean, just keep wailing on that buffalo. You know, that's the test of manhood. Give someone a canoe paddle, send them to Yellowstone, and if they emerge alive in 2 weeks, they they get a medal.
I was just going to kill it with my tight 5 minutes, but I suppose we could do it with our bare hands.
Yeah, strangle a You just get it in a headlock, and yeah, I'll probably
They're not so tough.
yeah, I'll tell him my new closer, and that'll kill it.
I'll just cough on it. That should do it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so rounding third and coming home. Aaron, what's the future hold? You said you're filming a movie. What else are you gonna do? Well, how are you gonna engage Portland?
We're going to film this movie coming up. It's called The Devil's Lettuce. That'll be done in a year or so. And then for about three plus years, I've been running a show with my friends Michael Garcia and Nick Puente, a couple really excellent comics. We've been running a show called VHS Vengeance, where we show VHS movies through a VCR on a giant screen and make fun of them.
Oh, nice.
A derivative of a Mystery Theater. It's been great. And that'll be coming up. Whenever we're allowed to go back into public, we'll be showing Ninja 3. So that's enjoyable. It has ninjas, demonic possession, and flash dancing.
And this is the third of the series.
It is. And has absolutely jack shit to do with the first two.
Yeah. What are some of the movies you've shown on this VHS Vengeance?
We've shown Ninja 2. We've shown, what was the Patrick Swayze movie?
Roadhouse?
Steel Dawn.
Oh, Red Dawn? No.
Steel Dawn, and it's post-apocalyptic. We've shown a lot of canon movies from the 80s. Just preposterous action movies. There's a lot of bad Italian action movies like Thunder Warrior.
Nice.
It's gone off the rails.
You've ever seen
it has to be on VHS.
You ever see the Miami Connection?
Yes, we've shown. I hate myself for not being able to think of it. We've shown the guy's other movie.
Really? Wow.
I can't think what the name of it is. We're a really restricted premise, so if we can't find it on VHS, it makes it difficult. But
oh, nice.
But we're sticking to it. The thing with VHS is there were so many movies released on VHS that have no profitability in any other format that they're never going to release it. So a lot of these pieces of crap are just on VHS.
Oh, sweet. All right. Well,
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna say, I had another movie that I wanted to ask you, but I forget. Whatever. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm good. I'm just looking at a stack of VHS cassettes here.
Damn. All right.
Showing some real
All right. Well, I successfully derailed that. So, on that note, I'm just gonna end this episode. So, Aaron, great getting back in touch with you. when you come down to LA, make sure that I'm the first person you look up. We'll have a beer together.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, I think we'll probably have some films and film festivals down there whenever the world starts operating again.
Oh, sounds perfect. All right, well, that's this episode of Hunkered Down with Seth. You guys be safe out there.